Hey everyone, it's Leah Greenwood, and this is my first ever YouTube video. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I thought this would be a great time to start since I'm currently beginning on a fairly large and really exciting project of designing a tarot card deck. It's going to be a full 78 card deck with a major and minor arcana, and each card is going to feature a different animal. And so this first card that I'm working on here is the Fool card. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time to share my process of making this card with you all, and hopefully provide a little bit of insight into why I chose the cat for this card, and maybe even talk a little bit about some future cards. So before I even started this sketch, I spent about, I think, like 2 or 3 months researching for each card in the deck, and it was really important to me that I felt really stable and sure of each animal that I was choosing for each card. And so it took me quite a bit of time to research the meaning of each card and the important symbolism that's present in each card. And I'm finally at a stage now where I have a pretty solid decision for, I would say, at least like 90% of the deck. If not every card in the deck, I feel pretty certain that I know what animal I want to feature for each card. And so when I started sketching for this piece, I already knew that I was going to be drawing a cat. And the reason I chose a cat is because when I think of the Fool card or the Fool character, I think of this character that is really happy-go-lucky, maybe a little bit naive, perhaps a bit overconfident, and is ready to start on this super exciting, awesome journey. And I always think of a cat when I think of those attributes. I think that cats can be very overconfident, a bit naive. If anyone's ever heard the phrase, curiosity killed the cat, I feel like that's very true to all the cats I've ever known. They can really get themselves into a lot of trouble because they are so curious and charmingly naive and quite adventurous as well. So that's kind of what I was going for with this card. I wanted to depict this cat that is on this fence post that's sort of walking forward and doesn't seem maybe super aware of the fact that he doesn't have much more fence to walk on if he continues. But I also wanted the viewer to maybe get this notion that the cat is maybe in some way subtly aware and sort of playing a bit cool, which I think cats also have that personality as well. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the stylistic decisions and techniques that I applied to making this piece. So you'll notice right here I'm drawing a series of lines on top of the cat. And I'm thinking of these lines almost as like pathways or directions for the fur to eventually go. I'm really fascinated by the way hair and fur grows and how it sort of reminds me of water waves or air waves or something. I just think it's really cool the way that hair has like a growth pattern. So I always try to implement that into my work. I think not only does it create movement in the figure, but it also provides a sense of mass and form. And you can see here I'm referencing a old drawing on the left, this drawing of the hyena, as a reference point for how to approach this whole deck really in terms of style. And so that's something that I often, encourage beginning artists to do as well, is to reference your own work when you're making a work of art or a large project like this. I think referencing your own work helps you sort of maintain a sense of style and a set of rules or boundaries, if you will, for how to approach the piece. So I knew that I wanted to sort of keep a relatively simplified approach for this tarot deck. I didn't want to go full-blown realistic like some of my other work can sometimes go. I wanted it to lend itself more to perhaps a layered approach that one might take when making like a screen print, for example. So here we are, kind of messing around with color. This is always my favorite part. I feel like every part I sometimes will say is my favorite part, but color is just, it's magical. I feel like it really transforms a piece and gives you so much opportunity to sort of communicate emotion. And so I definitely knew I wanted to veer away from the standard colors that you see on the Rider-Waite Fool card, which is primarily a lot of yellow and red. You will see that a lot in the Rider-Waite deck. A lot of the same colors. There's a lot of yellow and red especially, as well as like light blue. But for this piece, I really wanted to convey that it was like just before sunrise or maybe even just before sunset, to sort of create this, this idea that like it's a new day or a new dawn. Oftentimes cats will come out at night, and so it very well could be, the sun is setting and the cat's ready to go on this little adventure. I also feel like I incorporated a lot of purples and blues into this piece, not just to communicate that like more dawn type feeling, but also because I feel like purple is just so mystical, and I kind of want this whole deck to feel mystical, sort of magical, a little bit whimsical. And that's a color you don't really see often in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, so I feel like it would be a really fun color to continue to play with. I also painted those morning glories in the lower left composition. I want to incorporate flowers and plants into each card. I think flowers and plants can carry a lot of symbolism, and when I think of morning glories, I think of new beginnings and these flowers that sort of bloom in the springtime and symbolize like a new day. I think they also really lend themselves to the color of the sunset or the sunrise in the distance, and maybe make the viewer contemplate the fact that it's a new day. So here's the final card. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my process for this. I really enjoyed working on this card and incorporating all the texture and details. But I'm definitely looking forward to working on the next card in the deck. I'm going to start on the Magician next, and I'm excited to see if anyone has any ideas for what animal I'm going to paint for the Magician. Let me know in the comments. See you later!